Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System 22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. We're continuing on with our little series of hover effects today. We've got a little icon here. When we hover over it, it's going to pop out into a little section right there with a little call to action. When we hover off it, it's going to return to just being an icon. That's a nice little effect to have. Really easy to do. We're using no extra plugins or coding to do this today. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is enable my Visual Builder. Let's roll down to where we want to work. And we'll just start from scratch. I'm going to get rid of this row. Okay, so we got a section and we got a row with 3. Let's put it between or after this. So I'm going to add a new row. I'm going to make it regular single column. Inside I'm going to use our trusty blurb module because it's got its icon. Obviously put your title in there, whatever you want it to say. The content goes here. I'm going to add a bit more content to this. I've got my lorem ipsum open. And like any text module, you can add media, pictures, bold, italicize, add links, do what you want here. I'm just going to add a little bit more content so we've got more to see here. Great. Rolling on down, we've got image and icon. I'm going to use an icon today. So I'm going to flip the little switch to on. And put in whatever icon you want to put in for yours. That's great. I'm going to save this. I want to make this row full width. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to go into my row. I'm going to go over to design, sizing, and in the width I'm going to pull that up to 100%. And I'm going to copy that, Control C, and paste it in the max width below. Control V to paste, or you can type it in if you prefer. We've got a full width row there. So we can save this. We'll go back into our little module, design, sizing, content width. I'm going to make mine about 60%, which should be similar to what we've got there. There we go, 60%. Great. Now let's go into my design, close up the sizing. I want to go into the text. I want to align mine in the middle. I want to make that title a little bit bigger, so I'm going to go down to title text. I'm going to make it bold, a lot bigger. Now let's capitalize it and give it a bit more line height so there's more separation there. There we go, that's great. Okay, initially I just want to see our little icon here. Then when we hover over it, I want it to drop down and reveal all our content here. So we're going to use some of the inbuilt sizing features for this today. First thing I want to do, because we're using a bit of sizing, is turn off any overflow so things don't fall out when we make it small. So I'm going to go to the Advanced tab, still in the blur, to Visibility. I'm going to go to Horizontal and Vertical Overflow and change them both to hidden. Now I'm going to go back to my design, to sizing, and let's have a look. Height wise, I just want it to be as tall as my icon there. So I'm going to hover over where it says height there. Common to most Divi modules, if you hover over the dark writing, it's going to pull up these icons. If there's an arrow there, we can set a desktop or non-hover state. That's when we just want to see the icon. And a hover state, that's when we want to see all the content. So for the height for the non-hover state, I'm going to make that about 100 pixels. There we go. And for the height, when we are hovering over it, I want it to be automatic. So auto. So it's going to show all of the content there. Great. Now just to make it slightly more interesting, that's fine when we're not hovering over it, but when we hover over it and we've got the content, let's put a background in there that is going to look a little more interesting. So let's go to the content, going to go to background. Again, I'm going to hover up over the little arrow. For the desktop version, I'm actually going to put a white background in. And then for the hover version, I'm going to put a blue background in. But I also want to have some image in there. So I'm going to choose an image. And I'm going to blend it with that blue color that I've got by rolling down, still on the image here. Background image blend. I'm going to change that to multiply. Now I just need to add a bit of padding to make this look a little more interesting. Now I just need this padding on the hover state. So again, in the design, I'm going to go back to design, spacing. Remember, I only want this in the hover state. So padding, I'm going to hit the little arrow. Desktop, I'm leaving it just like it is. Padding when we hover, let's give it 50 top and bottom. That's absolutely fine. Now let's make our text so we can read it here. So I'm going to shut up the spacing. I'm going to go into the text. I'm going to make that text white in color, or I could just make it light in color. It's the body text, title text. Make that white too. And my icon, I'm going to make that white also. And I also want to just add a little bit of text after the end of the paragraph there, prompting people to learn more and click. So I'm going to drop down and say learn more. And I'm going to put an alt code in there. And alt code is hold your alt key down, type 0187, and you've got a couple of little chevrons right there. I'm going to select those and I'm going to make them a different color. A little A right there. Let's make them sort of pale blue and perhaps bold them out a little bit. There we go. Fantastic. Great. Now the only other thing I want to do is slow this whole process down when we hover over it. So to do that, we can go to our advanced, go down to transitions. I'm going to slow mine down almost a second, around a second, something like that. Speed curve I like to use for these effects is ease in and ease out. Okay, well let's save our changes and see what we've got going on here. Looks like our icon's not going to work white like that because it's disappeared into the background. So let's change the color of our icon. Let's make it a blue, but I'll make it a nice sort of a light blue. There we go, that'll stand out on both backgrounds there. We'll save that, save our page changes. Save draft or publish if you're ready. And exit the visual builder. Roll on down to where we want to go. And there's our little icon. But I've noticed it's actually going down when we go anywhere near it. So if I go over here, it's popping down. I really only want it to happen when they hover over the icon itself. So what we've got to do is change the width of it when we're not hovering over it. So let's do that quickly and we should be good to go. We'll roll on down. And let's go back in there. And we'll change the width to the same as the height on the non-hover state. So I've gone to design, sizing. Here's our width. Let's roll up and get our little arrow. Desktop state, I'm going to make that 100 pixels wide. And let's pop it back into the middle. Alignment just down below. Then when we roll over it, we want it to be auto or regular. There we go. That way it should just happen when we hit the icon. Let's save our changes. Save the page changes. Exit the visual builder. Okay, let's roll down and take a look. And there it is. I can roll around pretty close to it and it's not going to do anything at all. As soon as I actually hover on it, it's going to drop down with our little section right there. There we go. As soon as we hover off, it's going to go back to as it was. That's a nice little feature to have on your site, really easy to do. As you can see, no coding involved. You can add links and things like that. Got a little link here. Just link your module to anywhere you like. So there you go guys, there's icons drop down section on Hover. I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.